Hey guys, it's Mitch. I wanted to show you guys a quick setup video on my interface and kind of my damage rotation, I guess, for some quicker kills in GWD2. This is just really like a baseline to first start getting into some higher level bossing. I took away my action bars and my keybinds. I'm using Revolution, except my thresholds. I don't have those on Revolution, and I also don't have Fragmentation Shot of Bleed because I like to manually use that for when it's easier to walk bosses, or they're going to move automatically. Then I use that because it does twice as much damage if they're moving. So I did pull out one action bar, and I put on two switches: a shield switch for res, and a planted feet switch with Ring of Vigor for my Death Swiftness rotations. Those are the only two switches. I have prayers up here. I won't really use those in Vindicta. I will use those in Hellweir, but that's about it. The other two you kind of just camp in prayer. I have my Adrenaline Stalls, Surge, Freedom, and Anticipate. And then I just wanted to show you guys kind of my user interface. One thing a lot of people don't know is you can toggle your game view, so it's only a certain part of your screen if you're in settings. Oops, sorry. Edit layout mode, advanced settings. If you scroll down to game view, you can actually adjust that window and make it a little smaller so your other windows aren't covering up part of your screen, so you get a full view of the boss you're doing, I guess. I also have my buff bar and debuff bar, so that'll be like your potions, your death swiftness will be on your buff bar. It's good to have up in front of you to kind of get used to what you're using. Also, if you don't know how to pull out a bar, you can click on this little settings button, and then go to action bars, and then display a bar. Normally, I think I have 4 or 5, I forget. But I just pulled this one out for the GWD2 guides. And so one thing I did want to show you guys, the key to like a Death Swiftness rotation. So the start of like say Vindicta, we want to build to 100% Adrenaline. And the key to Death Swiftness is getting off, like a baseline key to Death Swiftness is getting off 2 snapshots. So once we get to 100% Adrenaline, this is going to be the first switch that you're using. So that's your Planted Feet Shadow Glaive with Ring of Vigor, so you save 10% Adrenaline. So we're going to go Glaive, Vigor, Death Swiftness, back to your Ascension, turn your ring on. So now we're in Death Swiftness. We're just building Adrenaline up to 50% to get our Snapshot off as soon as possible. So our Snapshot, so we had 25 seconds left, so we can get another Snapshot off at the end of our rotation. I'm going to keep using our thresholds. Rapid Fire is really good with Ruby Bolts. It usually gets you a couple of procs, so Vindicta, that'll be like a 12,000 damage. I do use Tendrils at Vindicta as well. As long as you're above 50% health, you should be fine. Then your last Snapshot. And so that's kind of your main DPS rotation for Vindicta. And then the other thing that you'll want to do is once you get him below 100,000 HP, he's going to go into this rotation where he uses this like range attack after a melee. So he's going to use melee, range, melee. And so after he walks up and hits you with the first melee, you can jump to a shield, res the range attack so it heals you, and then back to your Ascension. And so those are the 2 switches I'm going to use. Same with Hellweir. That's the only other switch I'm going to use is a shield switch. And then we'll have to use Freedom for his bleeds. But this is just kind of a baseline setup of my gear, my setup. I like using Dark Magic. Ruby Bolts are like huge damage boosts for range. This is what's going to kind of like save your kill times a lot. I'd rather use Nightmare Gauntlets, but I actually have a friend borrowing them, so I'm using these. Hellweir, you want to, and Greg, you want to use Cinderbane gloves because they're both poisonable, but Vindicta's not, so it doesn't really matter. And so that's my setup. So we'll get into a guide in the next video. I just wanted to show you guys kind of a quick little rotation guide so you guys know what I'm talking about when I say I want to get into a Death Swiftness and try to get my snapshots off. That's just that threshold for the most damage. Well, that's all I got for this video. Thanks, guys.